I remembered when I was about 9 or 10 going to church one Sunday. My mom had taken me to church. I was there with my friends. We were talking. And I remembered on the night of this scheduled execution meeting this little boy. And he was standing there at the church, and he wasn't saying anything. And I asked him, "What's your name? Where are you from?" And I remembered that night how that little boy tried to answer my question, but he also had a very severe speech impediment, and he began to stutter. And then I remembered that I did something really ignorant. When that little boy tried to answer my question in church all those years ago, I remembered that I laughed at that little boy. My mom came over and she gave me this look I'd never seen before, and she pulled me aside. She said, "Bryan, don't you ever laugh at somebody because they can't get their words out right." I tried to apologize. My mom wasn't having it. She said, "Now you go over there and you tell that little boy you're sorry." I said, "Okay, Mom." And I took a step to go see this little boy, and my mom grabbed me by the arm. She said, "Wait, after you tell that little boy you're sorry, I want you to hug that little boy." I rolled my eyes a little bit. I said, "Okay, Mom." And then my mom grabbed me by the arm again. She said, "Wait, after you hug that little boy, I want you to tell that little boy you love him." I said, "Mom, I can't go over there and tell that little boy I love him." And she gave me that look again, so I did. I went over to this little boy. I said, "Look, man, I'm really sorry." And then I lunged at this child and gave him a little boy man hug. And then I tried to say to this little boy as insincerely as I possibly could, I said, "Look, man, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, I love you." And what I'd forgotten until the night of this execution is how that little boy hugged me back. And then I remembered how he whispered flawlessly in my ear. He said, "I love you too." And I was thinking